What is up guys, my name is Mark and today we're covering r/IDOWorkHereLady. If you're new here, please consider hitting that like, that subscribe and that notification bell. Also just to mention, as I know a few of you have been saying you don't get my notifications, if you click the bell next to the subscribe button, it will say all, personalized and none. By default it goes under personalized, which means YouTube will choose when it gives you the notifications, but if you click to all, it will notify you every time we post a video. And with that being said, let's get started. Much love guys. Our first story is from Small Marshmallow. Towing guy gets confused for illegal parker. Obligatory not my story, but my dad's intro. Context, my dad worked for a towing company which had plenty of contracts with property owners to tow heavy vehicles that are parked illegally. Police officers patrol the properties, spot illegal parkers and call dispatch up, which then call him to tow. My dad drove a 50-ton quick swap with the company's logo on both sides of the truck. Because of the contracts, he's allowed to park on the owner's properties if he needs to rest. Plus it provides a good bait for unsuspecting heavy drivers. Now, onto the story. My dad was in a parking lot taking a quick nap, since he had been driving for a while and it was the middle of the night. He gets a call from dispatch saying there was a private property tow that needed to be picked up. He was given the address, which just so happened to be where he was. He got out of the truck and looked around to see no illegal parker in sight. He informed dispatch of this and ended the call. Before he could get back in, a police officer then approached him. The following conversation ensues. D, my dad. P, police officer. Police officer says, "What do you think you're doing? You can't park here." "Yes I can." "No you can't. This is private property. I've just called someone to come pick up your truck." "Yeah, I know you did. I just got off the phone with dispatch about it. I can't tow myself." "I highly recommend you leave, because when the towing company arrives, your truck's going to get impounded." My dad then says, "Then they better wake someone up from the day shift, because I have the biggest truck in the night shift in the entire company." The police officer then says, "Now you're being smart." "Well, one of us has to be." "What do you mean?" My dad then pointed to the sign that was at the entrance to the parking lot. "Go and read out that sign to me." The officer went to the sign and began reading. The police officer then reads the sign aloud. "Commercial vehicles parked without authorization will be removed and impounded at owner's expense." Dad then told the officer to read the bottom of the sign. The officer did just that and then looked at the side of my dad's truck, noticing the logos to match, and then realised the error he's made. He made the walk of shame back to his car and left, leaving my dad with a funny story to tell me once he got home that morning. How daft could you be? My word. Our next story is from Blue Wolf 107. I'm a photographer, not a horny teen. I don't know if this counts, but you tell me. This happened to me a while ago at a volleyball training school that I work at part-time. My dad co-owns a place with 4 other people, 2 of which are ex-pro volleyball players from Russia. At the school we have different coloured shirts for the students based on age range, green, blue, white, and a black shirt for staff. All of these have a giant logo of the school plastered on the front of it. Since I play soccer and have school to focus on, I only work there part-time. When I'm there I do things like update rosters, take payments, translate for people in Spanish, first language, and things of that nature. Now because I like photography and my pictures are pretty decent, my dad pays me extra than my usual salary to take pictures for their website and to help him with their logos and colour schemes for game uniforms, different from practice uniforms. Photoshop stuff, relatively easy. Anyway, I walked in one Thursday afternoon and after completing some paperwork and finalising some payments, I went out of the staff room / office to take pictures of the class in action. We teach from grade levels 8 to 12. Today was a class of 8 to 9 graders. I had my uniform on because it was a bit chilly inside. I didn't bother taking my jacket off. I thought as long as I kept it unzipped so people could see the logo on the shirt, I would be fine. That was a mistake. I set my camera shutter speed, checked to make sure the flash was off, don't want to mess up the students, and started snapping pictures. It was at this point that one of the girl's father came in to pick up his daughter. I should mention that normally the girl's mother picks her up, so he didn't know the staff very well. There was still 5 to 10 minutes left of class, so he made his way over to the rows of chairs lining the wall of the gym. Until he saw me, a punk high schooler, 11th grade at the time, taking pictures of his poor freshman daughter and her classmates that I can use for my own enjoyment in the privacy of my bedroom. He immediately got up from his seat and stormed up to me. He demanded to know what I was doing, taking pictures of his daughter, and threatened to destroy my camera if I didn't give him the SD card that second. I was so shocked at that sudden confrontation that I couldn't think of anything to say, so I simply grabbed the side of my jacket and opened it a little so the logo on my shirt became visible. The look on his face when he saw I had the staff uniform on was one of absolute horror and shame. He mumbled a half-assed apology and walked back to the seating area. Now every time he walks in, he never speaks to me, even when the bill for classes is due to be paid. He either waits until he's sure I'm not around, or he gets his wife to do it. He's actually a nice guy from what my dad tells me. He's just ashamed. It's kind of a problem with today's society, isn't it, that you can't take your cameras anywhere these days without being accused of something. You can't take your cameras into swimming no more, take pictures of your kids and stuff, just simply because you might be taking pictures of other children. It's just, it's bonkers, but at the same time you can understand because there is a lot of weird people out there, you know. Our next story is from Jesse Gaines 777. Police thought I was a prostitute. Never posted before, only commented, so not sure how the format, but here goes nothing. About 2 or 3 years ago I worked at a gas station. For some context, this gas station in particular is a place where a lot of drug deals and stuff go down. It was one of my first jobs and I didn't really like being seen in the uniform in public, so I go to work with my uniform in my old backpack from high school and would change in the employee room, then change back after my shift. So one day my shift is over and my, now ex, stepfather is waiting for me, but I can't close my register while there's a line of customers, so I end up coming out like 20 minutes late, in my normal clothes. Apparently while my stepfather was waiting for me, someone called the police on him for suspicious behaviour. And as we're about to leave, we're stopped by the police. They question my stepfather about what he was doing, and he tells them, and the officer gives me a dirty look and says something along the lines of, "Oh, so you weren't waiting on this lady to bring home for fun?" He had more colourful language than that. I was then questioned on where I worked, where my shift was, why I was off late, etc, until he finally asked where my uniform was, to which I responded by promptly taking it out of my backpack and showing him my name tag as well. He still didn't believe me, I guess, because then he wanted to run my ID. So I give him my state ID that says I'm freshly 18 years old. He thought I was younger, and he took it to his car. Then he came back with it and gave my stepfather a bogus ticket for not having his license on him, probably so he didn't look like a dumbass. Hope this fits here, and I hope it's a good story. I guess I need to clarify, I only assumed the cop thought I was younger. Most people think that I'm much younger than I am, so I can't see anyone thinking I'm older. This next story is from Wafer 2016. My boss fooled me. Hi happy Reddit people. This happened more than a few years ago when I worked for an online gaming company. I worked in world as we call it, planning events, customer service and staff run fantasy characters that augmented the virtual world storyline. I also worked in the background designing art, interactive locales, web design, etc. and other tech stuff I won't bore you with. Now I was known for my way of making new members feel welcome, and one day I was in World enjoying some downtime on my avatar. I came upon a new member, or as we call them, newbies. She was dressed in the new issue body, clothes and standard issue head, looking rather lost. I bopped on over and introduced myself with a loud and happy, "Hello, you must be new, welcome to blah." Newbie replied she had just hatched and had no idea what to do next. I was ticked. What followed was 2 to 3 hours of me happily showing her around the world, introduced her to other players, helping her get her own home, or turf. We had a blast. Finally she had to log out, so we said our goodbyes and I bopped away to work on some new art installations. Fast forward to our next staff meeting. Normally they were run by a manager, so we were surprised to find out a director in the meeting room waiting for us. We all sat down and had our usual crazy everyone talking at once. We were all drunk on ideas meeting. Then the director stood up and started talking about how she was curious about our customer service, so she created a new avatar and came in world. I jumped, started to get an oh no feeling. Director went on about how she felt what a great time she had. I was 50 shades of red. She never mentioned my name, for which I was very grateful. But a few days later we were working together on an interactive art installation and I said, "You tricked me." She laughed. "I got you so good." We spent 5 minutes or more just howling laughing. I told her, "I'm glad. I try to be nice to all the newbies." What game is that, do you think? I'm thinking it's that life game or Second Life or something like that maybe. I don't know. If you do know, let me know. And our next story is from Scythe. I'm homeless? So I work at a Starbucks right next to a car wash and they're both located pretty close to the highway. My partner works at the car wash next to Starbucks, and I got the job at Starbucks since we have to share a car at the moment. Many days I'm early to work because there's no sense in taking him to work and driving home only to go right back. I was there about an hour and a half early this day because I had already run the errands I needed to do for the day whilst he was at work. I'd gotten up early and hadn't been able to sleep due to my wrist hurting due to carpal tunnel. This is important later. So here I am, sleep deprived, and I'm already covered in sugar due to working at Starbucks jacket. My bag beside me with a bunch of art supplies that I carry around. My apron inside the bag, a dirty shirt that I had thrown on, and a depressed look on my face. I also wore a hat, black beanie, every day to work, so today was no different. I realised with my wrist brace I couldn't draw, and my phone was about to die, so I'd be bored for about an hour and a half or so. I sit there with my bag beside me with nothing to do for about 45 minutes before I hear someone say, "Excuse me," and tap me on the shoulder. I turn around and a Santa Claus looking man, not dressed that way, just white/grey beard and all that, was standing there. The conversation proceeded to go as follows. Santa Claus says, "Sorry, have you eaten?" I say, yeah. Hadn't, but I get a free food item every day, so I was going to anyway. "Oh, you have? Well anyway, I wanted to give you this. Get yourself a coffee," he says with a small laugh and hands me $6 because Starbucks is expensive as fuck. I say, "Oh, thanks so much." More from that's now how I acted when we got tips until he walked away. I then realised I was just given $6 to eat/drink from a random guy. From his perspective, I looked like a young, depressed, homeless, feminine teen on the side of a highway, even though I was just sitting at my place of work. Oh, what a nice guy though. It's like 2 wholesome stories in a row. I love it. I love a bit of a wholesome one. With all these Karens we get, it's nice when you hear about someone doing something positive, you know. What I want to know, did you actually spend that $6 on food though? Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed these stories, and if you did, please consider hitting that like, that subscribe and that notification bell, and don't forget to change that notification bell to always if you want to get the notifications all the time. And with that being said, much love guys, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye now.